place my phone so I could chat with y'all. I know it's been a while, guys. I've been watching the FIFA and I've been getting really disappointed that almost everyone I've been rooting for has been getting out. You know what I'm saying? But it's fine. Everything is fine. That's what it's been going on, actually. Also, I don't know if I told y'all, but I went to see my family. Like, we had Denny's for, like, it had been a long time. But yeah, it was really fun. It was really nice. You know what, guys? I have been thinking a lot about the channel and everything. Just because I've been really busy, right? With work and stuff. But that's really not an issue. I'm gonna open the chat now. I am trying to find a way to do it quickly for y'all. Yes. But guys, as I said, it has been a long time since I streamed, and that's only to be expected. You know, I've been working a lot. Thankfully, we've gotten the first donation of the channel, and with that, I will be getting a game to stream for y'all. It has been a long time coming, right? I've had that game on my wish list for almost 3 years now. So, thankfully, now we can stream it, right? At some point. But guys, when I stream games, y'all can't see my face. I hope y'all can understand. This is the Tamagotchi paradise that I'm playing with, but I'm trying to, like, yes, put her to sleep because it is really late, guys. Just kidding. It's late for her, but she was supposed to ask me at 7. Oh my god. Guys, I am back. And I'm better than ever. Just here, ready to entertain y'all, right? Also, don't ask me for directions because I got lost again. I keep missing my exits, honestly, while I drive. I hope it doesn't happen as often anymore, okay? I am a little bad with directions, okay? But everything is fine, right? I mean, guys, have y'all been watching the FIFA World Cup or not? If y'all have, let me know because I've been kind of invested this year. I don't know why. I don't know. Like, all of a sudden, I just woke up one time and I was like, you know what? Your name is Cody Dillison. Hi, baby. Hello. Enceladus Nekotan? No, I am not a Nekotan. I'm a Bunny-tan. Neko is cat. Yeah, you have been. You have been. Wait, you have been watching the FIFA World Cup, or yeah, your name is Cody. Which one? Which one? How have y'all been? Oh, I don't know about Senpai though. I don't know about Senpai. There's a lot that I still need to learn, okay? That's Sensei, not Senpai. Senpai, well, still Senpai. Senpai's for, like, you know, upperclassmen. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I've been watching the FIFA World Cup. Oh my god. Me too. I've been super invested. Like, I don't know what happened this year, but this year I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be super attentive to the FIFA World Cup. And then Mexico, no. US, no. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you're senior. I'm way past that. I'm probably like, yeah, like a sensei or something. But not really. Like I said, I still have a lot to learn, a lot to live, you know? But yeah, guys, I can't believe it. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the the Mexico game, right, guys? But did y'all see that kick? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? If y'all saw it and y'all know what I'm talking about. But that kick where the ball was so good and went so straight, right? Like 5 inches away from the goal. I was like, bro, oh my god. What do I do for a living? I deliver pizzas. Just kidding. No, but I do deliver pizzas though. But I mean, I won't do that for my entire life. I mean, there's gotta be something else that I can do. I just gotta save up some money. You know what I'm saying? What do you do for a living? What do y'all do? For fun or for a living? There's a lot. There's a lot that could be done out there. I can tell you a joke. Sure, tell me a joke. What is this joke that you got? Do y'all hear me good? I don't sound like a robot or anything? Because this setup is kind of new. Like, stuff changed around back here. Um, I bought Kiki more treats. Kiki's a dog. She's beautiful. I love her. She's fantastic, amazing. She's a blue heeler German Shepherd mix, and I love her. Do I know you? You have similar vibes to somebody. But yeah, guys, I got a new Tamagotchi. It's a Tamagotchi Paradise. And she's asleep now, but she's really cute. She's pink. I can post a picture of her on the community tab. But yeah, and this is so adult friendly. Just saying. Like, if you have big hands, this will be pretty comfortable. Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know, why did the chicken cross the road? You don't get to name them anymore, by the way, guys. You get to only name your planet. And my planet's name is Paradise. Basic, I know, I know. I name everything that, as long as it's not like a living thing. You know what I mean? If I would have named her, she would have probably been Bubblegum or something. Why did the chicken cross the road? She was playing Crossy Road. That's why. Guys, also, my ticks are coming back. My nose is shaking again. Like it should be. Just kidding. I don't know. That's why I called myself Bunny, by the way. Because my nose shakes when I'm like emotional and stuff. But yeah. Because the chicken farted. Oh no. It ran away because it was embarrassed. Embarrassed. Would the honestly, I have a question for you. If okay, if if you could do anything with $1 million, what would you do? I feel like a lot of people don't think about that, you know? They just say, "Oh, I want to be a billionaire or something," but they don't think about what they're gonna do once they do become a billionaire. You know what I mean? It is a lot. It is a lot. Double it. Hello, Rebel. Honestly, honestly, that's smart. That's smart. Yeah. Why not double it? You might as well get better. You want me to tell you a joke? Me? Okay. Do you know Spanish? Because I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of English jokes. I have Spanish jokes, but not English ones. No, you don't. Oh, okay. Uh, it's cause like if I traduce it, I mean translate it. If I translate it, then it won't come out right. Okay, okay. Nah, it's not gonna come out right. Cause you don't know Spanish. Wait, let me see. Let me think about an English joke. Hmm. Hmm. Wait. No, that wouldn't make sense either. I'm thinking too hard, guys. I'm thinking I was gonna say, okay, joke of the day. This is Bunny Rabbit Lives giving you the joke of 2026. Okay, when a bird hears a joke from another bird, what do you think the bird calls the other bird? No, that's gonna come out wrong. Actually, forget it. Scrap that. What does he call him? Oh, I was gonna say a joke, but that came out wrong. Cause okay, so if a bird says something funny, the other bird's gonna say, "What a funny joke," but that's not funny, cause I explained it. You see, I can't be funny, guys. I can't. But yeah, like honestly, doubling a $1 billion would be very good. Quadrillion, quadruple it. Yes. But then what would you do with all that money? You know what I'm saying? Like what would you do with it? Just save it? Tell me a knock knock joke. Okay. Uh knock knock. You have to say who's there. Use the caps lock if you're gonna who's there? Okay, who's there? It is bananas. Now you have to say banana who? Bananas and apples. Oh no. Take me out. Take me out of this. Take me out of this. Okay, guys. Here are my hands. Wait, hold on. Let me bring them out. Send me to jail. I'm fine. Okay. Expeditiously. Send me away. Guys, I cannot be funny. Not like this. Like, I can only do stuff like this naturally. You're putting me on the spot. And I can't do anything like that. You're asking me to be funny on the spot. That is okay, look. That is impossible for me, okay? I'm sorry. It just it can't. It can't happen. Okay? I don't know why I'm drinking so much water, guys. I'm about to run out of this water bottle. Yeah, go ahead. I'll be quick. Ooh. Actually, I just ran out of water. Oops. Who's there? Oh, I watched a really cool movie, but I don't know the title of it, guys. And it was about this guy who was supposed to have an inheritance, and then he starts taking people out from his family. Wait, dog who? Dog who? Bow wow. He's gonna say bow wow. But I bought a dog food, brother. Brother. Um. Okay, if you want to play a word game, what if we play a game where we guess things? Like, okay, say we can choose between foods or anything, any topic, and then I say a word, and you have to come up with a word that starts with the same letter as the word that I said. How about that? You want to do that? I challenge you. Hello, hero. How are you doing? Yes, you laugh. You laugh. Funny, funny. Um. Okay, so if I say that. Okay, I'll start then. What do you want to do it in? Like, what topic do you want? You want like animals, um, birds, gig. No spamming, please. No spamming, please. Sorry. Birds. Oh, I don't know a lot about birds, but sure. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start with. Actually, let's okay, so whatever letter it ends with, we have to come up with with um with a word for it. So okay, so I'm gonna start and I'm gonna say albatross because I think that's a bird. I could be wrong. I don't know a lot about birds, so I'm gonna say albatross, and you can come up with whatever word for bird that starts with an S. So whatever bird you know that starts with an S, you say that. Okay, I said albatross. I think albatross is like, if I'm right, I think it's like a kind of coastal bird that is kind of carnivorous. Sometimes like it eats, sometimes they eat each other sometimes. I think, but only the young ones. Look, I know animals, I don't know birds, okay? Like if you would have said nature, okay, I got this in the bag, but birds? I will be chatting until 9 as usual. I think, Cody, I think I win. Are you sure you don't want to change the topic to something easier? You can't use Google. That's cheating. Was I right though? Is albatross a bird? I think, look, that's it. That's it. That's proof I win, I think. You only get one shot. um no, but seriously, I don't know a lot about birds. I just know that like the basic ones, we have blue jays, we have grackles, pigeons, doves, chickens, mallard ducks, Muscovy ducks or whatever it's pronounced like. what else do we have? Cranes. We have, I don't think they're called roadrunners, but that's what I would describe it as. I don't know. Well, I bought this book about pests, and most pests are actually not pests per se. They're like just really invasive because they got brought here from somewhere else. But yes, I think it's super interesting. My opinion. Birds, guys. We were playing a game, a letter game. We had birds as a topic, and it looks like I win. But I don't know a lot about birds, honestly, guys. I really don't. I know more about dogs than anything. And then I know more about... No, that's it. Yep. Dogs are my thing. But yeah. I don't know if y'all know also, like I said, I have been watching the FIFA. I was really upset when Cabo Verde lost. I wanted them to win so bad. They did so good, and I think they would have won if it hadn't been an auto goal, like that one auto goal where the ball bounced off of one of their heads when they were trying to like block it from going into the goal. But yeah. And honestly, guys, the Mexico game, like the first two goals, like one after another, that was crazy. I was like, no, you gotta stop that. Absolutely not. I can't believe they lost there too. I was like, bruh. But yeah. And I don't know if y'all know, but I've been really trying to save for a motorcycle, but I think I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know, maybe start small. Even though I want a 300cc, I probably won't get one to start with, just because that's how much it weighs, right? And I think I can hardly lift that, so I would have to start small and make my way up. You know what I mean? Probably, yeah. But anyways, I want to try more hobbies, honestly. I want to do a lot more. I've been like stuck in like four walls as of late. Not that there's anything wrong with that, guys, but like sometimes you gotta live a little, you know? I haven't been out much, so yeah. I suggest, like, if y'all are able to right now, that y'all are young, like, do what you can to like live. You know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, but they said no, like, oh, people would think this is wrong. Like, have fun, you know what I mean? Live a little bit. But I mean, with reason, right? Hey, PXR! Long time no see! Hello! How are you doing? Are you doing good? I bet you watched the FIFA. Did you? You're fine. A long time no see. You did watch the FIFA. Or yes, it has been a long time. Maybe I should change my phone, like the camera over here. Maybe that would be for the best. What do you think? Better? Both. Okay, so, but all of the teams you're going for are still in or not? I think I have a friend who I think is in Switzerland, but I think I might root for Colombia, Netherlands, and Switzerland. I think if they have won, like I haven't seen the Switzerland game. I'll have to look into that. But I know that the U.S. lost pretty bad. They did. Oh, don't remind me. Oh my god. Just kidding. I didn't cry, but I was kind of like, I was like, bro, like, how are you gonna kick the ball like 5 inches away from the goal and in a straight line? You know what I mean? Did y'all watch it? You saw that part, right? I wasn't the only one. I was so mad. I was like, bro. But then I had to like, I was at work when that happened, so I had to like, I couldn't watch the whole thing. And then I got home and I saw that they lost. I was like, ah, what do you mean you lost? Yeah, like usually I'm not really all that invested, but this year I woke up with like a different headset. You know what I mean? With a different mindset. But yeah, it is a very interesting event in my opinion. Now I can learn to appreciate it. When I was a kid, I was really more into like doing stuff indoors, so I was like, why should I like pay attention to any of this? You know what I mean? But then my mom like also got me into it, so she's really into sports. Messi or Ronaldo? I would say Ronaldo maybe. I think so, yeah. I don't think I'm rooting, like, I'm not gonna root for Argentina, I think. They win a lot. Ah, bro. I was actually so surprised that Brazil lost. Like, are you serious? And then I saw the videos of how they used to play. I was like, guys, y'all need to bring the rhythm back. Where did the dancing ball kicks went? You know what I mean? Where did they go? Like, it was what? I mean, they lost. Yeah, they did lose, but they used to win a lot. They yeah, like I feel like they changed their style, like of how they play. But I don't know. But like, and then people were being mean to the youngest player in Mexico when he was actually playing really good. And also like I forgot his name, but the Colombian player in the Mexican team, he was one of the ones who actually shot a clean goal shot and they took him out of the game. I was like, yo, that's like the least smart thing you could do. Like now we're cooked. You know what I mean? Portugal and Ronaldo is out. What? That is crazy. That is crazy. Okay, so then I'll root for like I said, I'm gonna root from now on if Switzerland made it out, because I don't know, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the results from that. They lost yesterday to Spain. Oh, okay. I didn't know they were playing against Spain. But you know what I do know? Um, Spain is really good. Spain is really good. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna hope that Netherlands wins, okay? Or Colombia, one or the other. Oh no, Portugal lost. No, yeah, I know. I know Portugal lost. Wait, who else? Look, I haven't really like remembered the ones that have lost except for like the ones that I've been rooting for. Like I know that what's his name? Australia was eliminated, and I know that who else? I know Japan and South Korea are also eliminated. Colombia lost. What? Brother. Oh my god. I gotta look that up, honestly, after. Oh my gosh, I'm missing so much. Like, the only way that I can watch The matches is if I go to work. So because it gets slow and you could watch it on the TV, but on my phone I really can't. Morocco. Oh, actually I think Morocco has a high chance of winning actually. I think. Who do you think? France or Morocco? Cuz I think Morocco has a pretty good chance. Oh, Canada lost. I wanted them to win because my friend, she's from over there. So I wanted them to win for her. You don't need to watch all the games, just watch some clips. You're going with France? Okay. Okay. May the best one. Hey, just kidding. No, but really, well, as long as everyone has fun, it's all that matters, right? But still, like, I don't know. Mexico losing, I was like, bro, everybody was grabbing each other hard. I was like, bro, you play the game with the feet, not the hands. But yeah, I might go for Morocco actually. But you know what? It's fine. How's your like? Wait, y'all have summer break? Cause I know you're like young. I don't know how I know, but I know you are. You're happy. Oh, would you like to share why? At least Americans know the World Cup now. Oh, we know. We've been knowing. Cause most of the time, like at least my family, they have been really into it. They have been really into the World Cup. At least my mom. My dad is not really all that into it, but my mom is. Me, I only started getting interested in it this year. I'm Mexican. Oh, yeah, by the way, I was gonna say, I got a Cash App, and it says Gonzalez on there, but that's because that's my last name, guys. So I might actually remove it if it's causing too much confusion, because I hear you don't actually need it on there, like your last name on there. So if I can remove it, I will. But yeah, I did get a Cash App, so. And now they call it football, not soccer. Yeah, I know. I call it football because that's what you call it in Spanish, you know? The US still calls it the US still calls it soccer. But like if you're literally from anywhere else, they call it like football, you know? Football. Football. But in the USA, football is a different game than soccer. That's cool. That's nice. Because you know, I hear that schools nowadays have like a week of break each month. And I'm like, that's crazy. Y'all are getting the best. Congratulations on passing all your exams. That's great news. Did you pass them good or did you pass them like almost didn't pass them? I have 3 months break right now. Yeah. Do you celebrate the 4th or not? Oh no, you don't. You don't cuz you're from somewhere in Africa. Me, uh I spent it home. We didn't see any fireworks, but I had a bookshelf. Like we built a bookshelf, so. Well, I didn't build it. My boyfriend built a bookshelf and I just relaxed. You know what I mean? But do you know what a Tamagotchi is? Do y'all like virtual pets? Have y'all heard about the Aibo, the little robotic dog? I still want one, guys. They're like $3,000, but that's like the price of a bike. And I want a bike. But I also want the robotic dog, guys. But I also want a real dog, guys. I want a lot of things. You know what? I asked people what they would do with $1 million. I would probably like not spend it all, but I would like spend like a good amount on like all the stuff I've been wanting. And then where's the other subscribers? Oh, probably like, lurking or like, busy at work or something. Because I have a lot of subscribers from, the other side of the world. And sometimes over there it's really early or really late compared to here. So right now, here it is 8:36 p.m., but somewhere else it could be 8:36 a.m. Or even like other places are like right now it could be 9:36 for them or 7 or 6, you know? But me, personally, I don't know. Also, one of them is probably celebrating their birthday right now. Like, and I'm really happy for that. Happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to them. But yeah. I used to have parties and stuff for y'all. I think I should like do that again. Like throw little like stream parties for y'all like I used to on holidays. Cause I also like want to help people out, like if they feel lonely or something, or they feel like nobody celebrates them. I want to be like the person who celebrates them, or the person who's there for them when they have nobody, or they feel like they have nobody. Cause I'm sure everyone has somebody, but sometimes you can't really tell. In August, I will be 20. You will be 20. August, like in the beginning or the end? I don't want to grow older. Honestly, yeah. I don't think you want to get older either. Because, like, most people your age are like, oh, I want to get older. Like, I want to do all this, all that. But, guys, it ain't all that, honestly. The 22nd. Oh, okay. Wow. If I stream that day, I will sing you happy birthday if you show up. You're a lion. You're a Leo. Yeah. Actually, are you? I thought it was like on the wait. I thought you were like a Virgo. Wait, I could be wrong. Do you believe in that? I actually don't, but I used to when I was younger. I have forgotten everything I used to know about it, but not no more. It equals Leo. How do you know what it means? And you're like, oh, do you believe in it? Like, come on, dude. How do you know if you didn't believe in it? But what's it called? No, I used to know about that stuff, but now I don't. I actually think it made me go into psychosis when I was younger to learn about that stuff. So I separated myself from it and now I'm better. So, yup. Careful out there, guys. I mean, it could be that, or my house could have actually been haunted. So, whatever. I don't live there anymore, so. Have you? Okay, so PXR. Have you ever. Now, because when I tell people that I was born in August, they mention Leo. Well, I mean, it could be Leo or Virgo. I don't know. I really don't. But, I think Leo or Virgo. I think. I don't really remember. But, what's the scariest thing that you have gone through, PXR? I haven't gone through too many scary things. What? What do you mean? What do you mean, PX? Scariest thing, yes. No, I said Virgo. Brother. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the scariest thing. You don't remember? Okay, I will stop prying. It's probably best that you don't remember then. Because, if you think it's spirits, sometimes you could just be mean to them and they'll leave you alone. But you gotta be nice after. That's the key. You know what I mean? You gotta be like, hey, yo! And then after, you gotta be like, hey, like, I'm sorry, but this, and that, and it upset me and stuff. So if you don't want to get that side of me, please do this or that or whatever. And then they'll be nice. They'll be nice. That's happened to me before. One time when I was a kid, I fall from a high place and I like, oh, let me guess, your floors are made of cement. That happened to me a few times when I was a kid too. Sorry for broken English. Nah, it's fine. I speak Spanglish all the time. All the time. Every day, every night. I'm understanding if, like, see, for example, if somebody, I'm gonna say this now, guys. If y'all speak a language that's different, which I know most of y'all probably do, I am not gonna judge y'all for speaking your own language or making mistakes in, like, a different language. You know what I mean? That's like, you're trying your best, and I can understand it for the most part. If not, I'll just ask for clarification. That's it. When I was a kid, I played soccer a lot. Me, I didn't play soccer, but I would run around a lot. I wanted to be a professional track star, but now I run for like 2 minutes and I'm out of breath. I'm like, Jesus, I need to do cardio or something. I don't know, something. Because do you do exercise right now? PX, you should exercise like as much as possible when you're younger. And exercise, I don't mean like just do weights. I mean like everything. Like cardio, then like weights, everything. You need to practice everything because I'm telling you right now, when you get older and your heart takes like 5 minutes to get back to a rest, you know what I mean? That is not good, guys. Yeah. Yeah. And the ball went flying in the roof of a closed shop. So I had to climb and take the ball from my friends, and then I slipped. Oh. Ooh, you fell from the roof on your head. Oh my goodness. Absolutely not. Well, I'm glad you survived that. Because I imagine it must have been, like, scary. Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine. I can only imagine, really. For me, like, I've only had, like, small scares. But I don't want to have big scares. I don't. What? Do you... Oh my goodness, PX, where do you live? Well, actually, don't tell me. Not exactly. Don't tell me. I know that you live somewhere in Africa. Don't tell me exactly where. Um, I hope that never happens to you again. That must have been scary. I don't know why people like steal, honestly. It's a very, like, it's not a very respectable thing. You know what I mean? So, not only that, like, it's pretty disrespectful if you're, like, robbing somebody, especially, like, a kid. Like, what? That's crazy. It will happen. You've had it happen more than once or what? That's crazy. Sometimes, not all the time. Like, really, people, like, it just, there's good and bad out there. You know what I mean? Not everybody's gonna be good and not everybody's gonna be bad. There's, like, people who, see, I've said this before. Like, if someone thinks that you did something bad to them, they're gonna think it's justified for them to do something bad to you. But you don't get to decide what that is. They decide what they deem is the appropriate response for whatever they think you did to them. And that's normal people behavior right there, I think. Like, you know what I mean? Pretty not predictable. Well, if you want me to tell you about something scary, okay? I was telling you about, like, paranormal stuff. Like me having to yell at a ghost because it wasn't listening to me the nice way. And then having to explain nicely after. And then they listened to me and they never did it again. So. But if you're talking scary, like, real life situation, my car, the paranormal stuff doesn't scare you. I mean, it depends on what it is for me to be scared, honestly. Like, if it's an actual apparition, like, actually, I'm not too scared of people. Like, I know they can do more harm to you, but, like, honestly, I'm like, that thing must be pretty powerful to come back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just my mentality, but like, fuck. Um, Let me see. If you want scary real life scenario, like, at some point, I think like 2 years ago or 1 year ago, my brakes flew out of my car on the highway, on my current car. So yeah, it wasn't that scary, honestly. I mean, I was terrified. I was honking at people to get out of the way because obviously I can't brake. But yeah. Hey, Yuki! Bienvenida! Buenos días! O buenas noches? No sé. Thank you so much, Yuki! Hello! What's the scariest thing that you've ever been through, Yuki? Pero yeah, so my brakes flew out of my car while I was on the highway at some point. Sí, noche, buena noche. Yeah. But also, like, if you mean, like, scary, like, when I was a kid, back in Mexico, I would run away, and I would, like, run at night, right? And when I would run at night, I would go out by myself, nobody knew. And I started running through the park. Actually, I do not. I do not watch ghost hunting, but I do watch, like, little legend videos and stuff. Or, like, scary experiences from other people. Because I don't know, I think it's interesting to see, like, people experiencing things. I don't know. Pero yeah. Oh, I was running to see if I could see my dad in the store, but he went to a different store, so I was just running to a store by myself. And so what happened was this person started chasing after me from behind me, and I started running way faster. I got to the store. I thought I saw my dad. I turned the person around. It wasn't my dad. I hissed at him. I ran away. I ran back home. Nobody followed me the second time. And that's it. That's how that ended. You watch Arab ghost hunting? Oh, go watch Arab ghost hunting. It's a real thing, believe me. I have not seen it, but sounds interesting. I'll look it up on TikTok. But me honestly, I personally have only seen, like, the random people ones where they show you, like, faces and stuff. I hate seeing the actual thing. Like, I'm like, bro, don't even show me what you look like if you're a ghost. Like, I just want to hear it. Like, if you're gonna do something, I just want to hear it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to see it. I want to hear it. Okay? Because guys, I don't know if you know, but the way it feels like when a spirit is trying to touch you is weird, to say the least. Like, if you feel like a satin blanket, just see my PFP. A booblies. What is a booblies? A booblies. What is that? Comentaste para que viera tu perfil. Is that what you mean? ¿Eso es lo que quieres decir? Go search what jinn means. Isn't jinn like those spirits with their legs the other side? A booblibis. A booblibis is nothing. What do you, ¿eso es lo que significa? ¿Significa nothing? Nada? Jinn means a spirit, right? But it's like one of those spirits with like their legs the other side up, right? I'm not really sure. Like I said, I only like to hear like the stuff that people go through. Entonces, Yuki, ¿no has sufrido por nada que te da miedo? It has no meaning. Oh, is it kind of like, como decir, o sea, como, like, I wonder, porque I don't think the English language have words that mean nothing but are just there. Maybe like, no, I can't remember anything like that. In Spanish, we do have some, I think. I just can't remember which ones because I speak Spanglish, so I speak it like English. English, English. But yeah. But me, I do get scared sometimes by spirits. But people, no sé. English or Spanish? Me or Yuki? Yuki speaks, como that meme? What do you mean? Now I need you to explain the meme to me. I was gonna tell you, like, Yuki speaks Portuguese. Like, if you were asking her or them. Pero me, I speak Spanish and English. Spanglish. The best of both worlds. But I understand a little bit of Portuguese. I am a Gen Z, but like right at the end of it. I'm like right when it starts, I think. Or right when it ends, I think. Gen Z, but right when it ends, I think. You're afraid to live in a world without Miku? Look, Miku's a great artist. Yeah. I wouldn't be here today if I I don't think I would be here today if I wasn't interested in a Vocaloid when I was younger. Está hablando de la FIFA. La Copa Mundial. Fútbol. But yeah, I feel like cuz Vocaloid got me into anime, and anime got me into K-pop, and Oh, CR7? ¿Como CR7? ¿Qué quieres decir? Ronaldo es un futbolero. Juega fútbol. And then anime and all the music and all the everything got me into virtual YouTubers, and now I'm here. Yep. This is how your bunny has come to life, but yeah. ¿Sí estás viendo la Copa Mundial, Yuki? Mine? What do you mean? Do I sound like meaner in Spanish, or like what do you mean? Yeah, I'm watching the World Cup. Are you happy with the people who are moving on to the next round? ¿O qué crees de la Copa Mundial? ¿O como qué piensas? Nope. Okay, Brazil got eliminated. Yeah. I know. I saw that and I was like, how? What do you mean? Yeah. Eliminaron a Brasil, sí. Pero también eliminaron a México, así que, you know. Miremos por los lados. Ah. What do you mean, PX? What do you mean? What does WIB mean? Welcome it back? When? Oh, North Korea's not even playing. I think they haven't played in a long time. I think it's because last time they played, like, they haven't heard back from the people that played for them last time. I'm rooting for the European Union. Europe? No, Yuki. ¿Por qué Europa? ¿Por qué? Okay, you didn't fall for this. What do you mean, PX? I'm watching the World Cup. Like, what? I know who got qualified. No. Yo quiero que gane, o Netherlands or who? Cause I heard PX say Colombia was out, so we can't vote for Colombia no more, I guess. Um, I haven't been able to watch the game, by the way, cause I've been off these last few days. Netherlands? Wait, Norway. Frick. See, that's how you know, PX. Stop confirming it. I'm so bad with geography. I know it's Norway. I said it weird. No mames. No, ignórenme, no me hagan caso. Qué vergüenza. Switzerland. Oh my god. Actually, I think I have a Switzerland friend, so that might be good. I meant Norway. You're right, PX. You're right. But please don't remember that mistake I'd made, okay? Because you know how bad I am with geography. You were the first to see it. No. Guys, I want Norway to win. Bunny Bunny, I have a question from the English. Sure, what's your question? Greenland is not playing. Are they? I don't think so. I don't think they are. Look, PX, are you trying to trick me again? Guys, oh my god. Ugh. Being bad at geography is so bad. I'm just kidding. Just to see awake or not. In English, just and only have the same meaning. Mm. In Spanish, yeah. So, like, for example, dust is like, it's just a cat. Solo es un gato. Or only. It's only a cat. Solo es un gato. Yeah. In Spanish they have the same meaning, but in English, just is like just. And English only means like one thing. Like, lo siento, Wilson. I'm awake. I'm just bad with geography. And should I chat for like another 10 minutes? You're welcome. But only, yeah, only could also mean un. Feel free. Yeah. Like I'll chat for like another 10 minutes. So like until 9:10, and then I'll read to y'all. Mm, do you have any other questions, Yuki? What about you, PX? Hey. Hey. What's up? I don't know why I did that. I might actually be sleepy, actually. You didn't watch or read ReZero. Huh. I didn't. But I did play the game. I finished the game. I didn't 100% it. I almost 100%ed it. It's just like one of the trophies is like such a hassle to get. Which is the one where you have to talk to the Anastasia for like a long time to get some coins from her or something. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. Oh my goodness. Go forget about the novel. Go watch the anime. Oh, you're like, forget about the novel. Go watch the anime. You hate Anes? Who's Anes? Oh, Anastasia. You hate Anastasia? Why do you hate Anastasia? I liked all the girls except for what's the name of the not Priscilla. What's the name of the wait, actually it might be Priscilla. What's the name of the beheading princess? The girl whose knight is the she's corrupt. What? I liked her. I felt like she was a good business lady. You know what I mean? Priscilla. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't like Priscilla. She's mean. But I like Millie, and I like you think no? Okay. Well, if you got any more questions, I'll answer them for you. But yeah, guys. Hey, do you remember Al, that knight with head armor? Yeah, I do remember him. What about him? Is he like evil too? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to go to bed. I don't. He was summoned also from Japan too. Oh, so he's from another world too. Does he have like the same thing where he like dies and comes back? I knew it. I think he's just evil because of Priscilla though. But he doesn't sound evil. He sounds like funny. Like, laid back. Cause there was a really funny scenario in the game where him and Subaru had a like really funny like brotherly moment. That's crazy. Maybe it's just because they both came from a different world. No, I don't know though. Let me get a bottled water because I ran out, okay? I'll be right back. I'm back. You got it right. I knew it. It's very, 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 sometimes things are predictable. Trabajadora del loro. Del lolo. Ignore. What does that mean? Is that, I thought you were trying to say Terradora. I did watch Terradora, though. When I was younger. I'm gonna read Behooved by M. Stevenson. I'm gonna read chapters 14 through 16. And then when I finish that, next time I read to y'all, it will be, because we're about to finish this. We're about to reach the halfway point of it. Is it a new book about, no. Well, there is, like, relationships like that, but they're not friends. And also, they're not really together. So, like, basically, it's just, like, about their past, but it's not, like, a part of the book. You know what I'm saying? So it talks about how they were together with a girl in the past, but now they're together with a guy. So she's betrothed to a guy now. But the guy was with a girl too, because they both got set up. Which is what we read about last time. So this is the recap. Basically, she used her sister's locket. He transformed into a horse, but it's kind of like a Swan Lake situation. Trabadora Trabadona is locked in the same position. Oh, ok, entiendo. Es que mi teléfono ya está batallando para que se cargue. But technically, the majority of the relationships in this book are a guy and a girl who are like hating each other right now. just because of the situation that they're in, because he thought that she forced him to be engaged, and she thought that he forced her to be engaged because some other person in the background made them think that one and the other forced each other to be engaged to each other. And it's a guy and a girl. But like I said, the guy turns into a horse and then he turns into a human again at night. Okay, guys, I will now be reading for y'all. Ya voy a leer. When is the next stream? It should be on next Monday or Tuesday. I will let y'all know on my... Okay, you're gonna go to sleep? Okay, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting. Really appreciate it. Stay hydrated. And please like to comment and subscribe if you have not already. And goodbye, PX. Bye-bye. Have a great day or night. Oh, sorry. Have a great night. Thank you. Alright, guys. I'm going to start reading now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The bells were chiming 5 when Maria and I finally left the ambassadorial wing. After several tense moments of lurking around corners while castle guards marched past, "I'll drop you off in the arboretum while I gather provisions," she said brusquely, peering around the corner of the alcove where we were currently hiding. "You can hide in a shrubbery or something until I come get you." My stomach churned. A reminder both that I hadn't eaten an entire day, and that my condition could flare again at any time. "I need to stop by my chambers first." Maria looked at me as if I were the one with hooves. "Have you lost your mind? The royal suites are crawling with guards." "It's important," I insisted. "There's something there I can't leave without. Not to mention, returning to my chambers might give me an opportunity to find out what had happened to my retinue during the attack, and potentially gather more clues about who had sent the assassin." "Well, you'll have to leave without it anyway. I'd rather lick the bottoms of that pompous ambassador's boots than sashay in there so you can fetch your underthings. Are you trying to get me arrested too?" "Then I'll go by myself, and I wouldn't take such a risk for my underthings." Maria snorted. "By yourself, my ass." I folded my arms. "I won't be able to make the journey without it." Maria eyed me suspiciously for a long moment. Then she blew out an irritated breath. "Fine, I'll go get it. What is this critical item anyway? It's a personal matter, and I have to go with you," I insisted, though I didn't relish the thought any more than she did. "It's in the chest, with an adept-forged lock that opens only to my touch." And Julieta's, but Maria didn't need to know that. The captain of the guard thumbed her saber hilt with an alarmingly speculative expression. "Well, maybe if I took just a portion of you..." Removing body parts was out of the question, but I flexed my hand, recalling the newly formed golden marks. If I'd learned anything since arriving in Gildenheim, it was that magic didn't always work the way I expected. "A toe, perhaps?" Maria was amusing. "Or maybe an ear." "Do you have a handkerchief?" I asked her. Her brows rose. "I didn't expect you to actually agree to this." "I'm not. Give me a cloth. I have a better idea. President suggests otherwise, Maria grumbled, but she handed me a handkerchief. I dropped to one knee and rolled up the leg of my trousers. The cuts on my hand had healed instantly, leaving those strange scars, but the scratches on my chins from the window glass had clotted over like a wound was supposed to do. I picked off one of the larger scabs, wincing a little as I did so, and I pressed Maria's handkerchief to it until it darkened. Maria's nose wrinkled as I held the bloody cloth in her direction. I think I would have preferred a toe. I thrust it at her face. Do you want to help Eric or not? It was the right thing to say. Maria gave me a disgruntled look, but shoved the handkerchief into her pocket. Fine, she grumbled. But if this doesn't work, I absolutely insist on a toe. And I haven't changed my mind about the shrubbery. No shrubberies were involved after all, but I did spend an undignified hour or so sitting in a broom closet and trying not to sneeze before Maria returned from her mission. To my dismay, she'd managed to grab only 3 bottles of tonic, barely enough to get me through a single flare, let alone multiple. But it was better than none, and she'd taken a considerable risk to get them, so I didn't voice my disappointment. We threaded our way through the arboreum, making our way back to the derelict stable, loaded with 2 saddlebags of provisions, a sword, and a saddle. Maria carrying most of it, to my relief. At the edges of the world, the sky was turning the rich, fiery hue of the hothouse oranges Evito had offered. Nearly sunset, Maria had explained that at dusk the guard would change, leaving a narrow window in which we could flee the castle grounds. We had to hurry. When we reached the stable, Maria dropped the saddle on the cold earth outside the yawning doorway. Her brow shone with sweat despite the chill. The rain had given way to scattered clouds and a brisk breeze, promising a frigid ride. I'll make certain this side gate isn't watched, but you'll have to move quickly. The guards will be on high alert. She glanced into the building, where Eric was a slash of white against the darkness. When she turned back to me, her scowl had returned. Eric's a good man. She'd lowered her voice so only I would hear. Or horse, whatever he is now. On 2 legs or 4, he's worth more than you take him for. I'm not sure what exactly you think I take him for, I said coolly. Except my husband, which he is, for better or for worse. Maria's eyes narrowed. I sighed, reining in my irritation. It wasn't her fault I'd married her lover. She was only someone who cared about Eric and was trying to keep him safe. She probably thought I'd forced him into marrying me, just as Eric had believed until this morning. Her hostility was understandable. I swore to protect them, Captain Dye, I said. I stand by my promises. Maria studied me suspiciously, then gave a curt nod. You'd better take care of him, if anything happens to Eric. Yes, I said dryly. You'll run me through. I know. She eyed me warily. Suspecting me of mocking her, I looked back, unflinching. Then, unexpectedly, Maria flashed a smile, quick and brash as lightning. Good. Don't forget it. She cast another look towards the stable. Eric? He emerged cautiously, testing each step as if he'd expected the mud to swallow him whole. As the light caught him, he glowed like a beacon. Of course he had to be a white horse. Maria hesitated, clearly struggling with what to say. She fidgeted with the hilt of her saber. "You'd better come back safe, you muckhead." Her voice was rougher than usual. "I wish I were going with you." Eric turned his head towards me. "Tell her to be careful, and..." He swished his tail, his hesitation roiling through our mental bond. "Never mind. Just tell her that." I conveyed the message, selfishly relieved that neither of them had said more. For all that Maria wished she could come with us, and for all that her skills would have been useful, I didn't relish the prospect of translating for my husband and his lover all the way to the Demarian border. "You know me," Maria said, shrugging. "Exactly why I'm worried," Eric muttered. He didn't ask me to relay that to Maria, and I didn't offer. "I should go," Maria said reluctantly. "I can delay the guards to give you a little more time. Wait a few minutes, and then head to the gate." Abruptly, she barked a laugh. "By the lady, part of me still thinks you're having me on, and this is all some elaborate prank." Before I could answer, she turned her back with one more look at Eric and was gone into the slant of late afternoon sunlight. I watched her vanish among the trees. Had we met under other circumstances, I suspect I might have liked her quite a bit. "I see you've acquired a weapon." Eric was eyeing the rapier at my waist suspiciously. "And supplies." I gestured at the provisions Maria had obtained. I also had a new dagger strapped inside my sleeve. A little heavier than the one I'd bought from home. But given Eric's earlier peek about my concealed blade, I wasn't about to tell him of its existence, even with our newly established truce. Eric caught sight of the saddle. He took a step backwards, nostrils flaring. "I am not subjecting myself to that device." "Well, I can't ride bareback," I retorted. "Not if we want to make any headway." Only the strength of fear had let me cling to him during our flight from the castle, and my muscles were feeling the after effects of that effort. If I tried riding bareback to the Demarian border, I would spend more time falling off than actually riding. "I don't recall agreeing to let you ride me at all. Why is this necessary? Are you not able to walk?" I folded my arms. No, sometimes I wasn't well enough to walk, but I wasn't going to reveal such a vulnerability to Eric. "We need to reach the border quickly, which means riding now, before we miss our chance and I'm arrested for murdering you. Not to mention the urgency of clearing my name before I ran out of tonic, or the council and my parents got wind of the situation and decided to get involved, which would only precipitate the threat of a war. Speed was desirable on all fronts." Eric pawed a hoof at the damp earth, only to recoil as muddy water splattered. I could feel his reluctance, the pain pricking at the back of my mind. It was a strange sensation. "Besides," I added, "the coronation's supposed to take place in 6 days, unless you're willing to delay it." 5 days now, since this one's almost over. "The coronation cannot be delayed," he huffed his annoyance. "Fine, you may ride, but I absolutely refuse to wear a bridle, whatever." It took longer than it should have to ready our gear and saddle Eric. I was clumsy from fatigue and nerves, and I kept flinching every time I fumbled. I clenched my teeth, willing myself not to snap at him. We'd been a horse for less than a day, after all. I couldn't expect him to be comfortable with being saddled. Finally, after several false starts, the tack was on. The bags hung. I scrambled onto Eric's back, settled myself in the saddle, and we were off. It was strange to ride without reins. My hands didn't know what to do with themselves, and it didn't help that I was reluctant to touch Eric any more than strictly necessary. I settled for clutching the pommel with both fists, as if I were a child just learning to ride. Eric moved at a steady pace, covering ground much faster than I could have on foot, even though he twitched and flinched each time a branch brushed his sides. In a startlingly short time, the castle wall peeked between the arboreum's firs, bathed in a bloody red in the waning light. I gripped the pommel more tightly. My hands were clammy despite the breeze's pervasive chill. If we were stopped now, recognized now, everything would be lost. My rendezvous with Tatiana, my chance to reverse the spell, my retinue, my chance of securing their freedom. My heart constricted. I was leaving Giulietta and my guards behind in prison. I knew I didn't have a better choice. Even with Maria's help, I didn't stand a chance of breaking them out. The best way to win their freedom was to return with Eric in human form. And yet it felt like I was abandoning the people who mattered most to me, the people who relied on me, the people who had given up their own lives to protect mine. Once again, as my parents had anticipated, I was failing. I tried to shrug away my guilt. I couldn't afford to think of Catalina or Giulietta right now. I was making the right choice. The only choice. There was only ever one. They would understand. Eric paused at the edge of the trees, assessing the route ahead. His tail swished, and the end of it brushing against my chins. I flinched like a startled horse myself at the contact. At least now I was wearing trousers. Thank the seas for that admittedly thin layer between us. I leaned forward, peering at the empty courtyard ahead. Earth strewn with fir needles gave way to the bare sod of a training ground. The castle loomed to our left, its defensive ramparts to our right. A narrow stairway led up to the outer wall towards the battlements where two human figures, rendered anonymous by distance, patrolled the fortifications. Guards. But they were moving away from us and looking over the castle walls, not inwards, in our direction. All we had to worry about for now was the gate. I swallowed my fear. "Let's go," I urged Eric in a whisper, "before anyone else comes." He scanned the courtyard once more, nostrils flaring wide. Then he moved, so suddenly I grabbed for the pommel. We were out in the open before I had fully recovered my balance, the distance between us and the wall closing fast. Hostile eyes, imagined, please let them be imagined, prickled my back, and then we were at the wall. The gate was unguarded, as Maria had promised. I half slid, half fell from Eric's back. My hands shook, clumsy with haste, and I struggled to slide the bolt free. Rust coated the iron. This gate must be rarely used. The bolt grated, resisting. For one terrifying moment, it stuck, and then it slid free, with a groan of metal that was surely as loud as an avalanche. I pushed the gate open. Eric surged through, and I followed. We stood in the red light of a day, preparing to depart. We had made it out of the castle. Eric was waiting, his tail flicking in discomfort at a bold fly circling his hindquarters. I shoved the gate closed, managed to get my foot into the stirrup, and heaved myself inelegantly onto his back. Thank the ocean there was no one to see. I settled myself in the saddle, flushed and disheveled from the effort. At least I wasn't wearing night clothes this time. I tightened my legs around Eric's sides, instinctively, as if he were an ordinary horse and not the man I'd married. "Let's ride," I said, and this time he didn't argue. He broke into a trot, then a canter, and soon we were flying along the road, away from the gloaming city, towards the Maria, towards home, towards virtues guide me, a way to set this right. Chapter 15. After a water break. Y'all stay hydrated. Okay. Chapter 15. Eric's hooves struck the earth in musical cadence as we bolted along the road. The only way was steep, and the thoroughfare twinning away from the coast and towards the southern mountains. Trees closed their ranks around us, making it feel like we were already in a different world entirely. Snowy peaks reared above their crowns, sheer and cold and beautiful as they glowed in the roseate light preceding dusk. The sunset colors cast the scenery as something magical, flushing the world with color like an artist painting over a sketch. My first impression of Gildenheim had been gray and grim, but I realized now that I had seen only an unfinished portrait. The palette of this land wasn't ugly, merely different. It was a place of contrasts and sharp edges, a land pared down to stark essentials. After a lifetime of wearing a golden mask, I found it as shocking and refreshing as the early springtime air. The vault overhead was deepest blue now, the western skyline red as flames. I glanced over my shoulder in time to see a final sliver of sun, molten gold and every bit as burning, slip between the horizon. Suddenly, I was falling. Momentum carried me forwards. Training saved me from serious injury. I hit the ground and rolled, head and limbs tucked in close. Pain burst bright as scattered embers across my shoulder as I struck the packed earth of the road. I somersaulted once and came to a stop just before the ditch. The breath had been knocked out of me. I lay half stunned while I caught it again. My mind was dazed as my body. The shoulder that had struck the ground was hot, map of future bruises. Nothing felt broken, but the shallow cuts on my legs from the shattered window had opened up again. The window, the assassin. Eric! I rolled over and pushed myself upright, wincing as grit bit into my palms. What I saw made no sense. The saddle, now cinched around empty air instead of a horse's ribs, lay overturned with saddlebags askew. A few yards down the road was Eric, no longer a horse, a man, grimacing as he dragged himself to hands and knees, a completely naked man. "What in the virtue's names?" I started. At the sound of my voice, Eric flinched and drew in on himself. He turned away, leaving me facing the sharp ridge of his spine. Of all the things to be concerned about, virtue of patience, we were married. Still, I grabbed the corner of the quilted saddle pad, crumbled in the road. I limped over to Eric and draped it around his shoulders. He stiffened with surprise, then his shoulders relaxed infinitesimally. Infinitesimally. He turned his head to look at me. His eyes were wide, their blue matching the darkening sky. "Are you hurt?" He spoke into Marion. His voice was graveled with exhaustion and confusion, harsher than I remembered it, but human. Definitely human. I'd think disease. He wasn't in my head. "Bruised, but fine. Are you? What happened? Is the curse broken?" "Please have mercy. Let it be broken." I hadn't exactly missed the man, but being married to a horse was awkward at best. If Eric was human again, we could return to the castle, clear my name, find the assassin, and consequently, who had sent them. Our journey would be over before it had properly begun. All of this, nothing more than a story to laugh over some future evening when we were thoroughly drunk. "I'm not sure." Eric's tone was cautious. I wasn't sure which of my questions he was answering. I'd asked too many at once. I tried again. "Are you all right?" Eric hesitated. "I'm not injured." Still not a proper answer, but at least more precise. Eric held up his hand, rotating it for inspection. I swallowed hard as the saddle pad shifted, revealing a swath of lean and muscled thigh. The saddle pad was generous, but not in relation to a full-grown man. It almost called more attention to what it didn't cover. Eric caught the saddle pad, pulling it back into place, and I hastily shifted my gaze to his face. I'd expected him to be elated by the transformation, but his brow was creased into a frown. "You don't look particularly pleased to be human again," I noted. "Or convinced?" He lowered his hand and looked at me again. "It seems too easy. A few hours and suddenly gone. That's not how magic like this works." I raised one brow. "No? What would you know about magic?" I'd observed his eyes more closely than I cared to admit. I wouldn't have missed it if they contained any golden flecks. "Quite a lot, actually," Eric said, his tone shifting towards annoyance. "I'm not a green witch or an adept, but I've made a study of the theory of magic. It's highly relevant to the crown of Gildenheim." I held my hands up, open-palmed. I didn't need to argue with Eric over this, too. Not while he was sitting naked in the middle of the road. I took no pleasure in an unfair advantage. "Fine. Tell me how it works, then." Eric eyed me suspiciously, as if he expected me to try to curse him again. "Perhaps we could get out of the road first," he suggested after a moment. "I would rather not explain our situation to any passerby." He had a point. The naked heir to the Gilden throne, the foreign wife wanted for his murder, and a saddle with no horse. The sight of us would raise a lot of questions. Without thinking, I held my hand out to Eric to help him up. His eyes narrowed in suspicion. I flushed with both annoyance and embarrassment. "Virtue of patience. I'm not trying to kill you. We're married." "That didn't stop you from wearing a dagger on our first dance." "By the ocean's 100 names. Would you let that go? I had good reasons. And we've agreed on a truce now, remember?" But if you'd rather I didn't help you up, go ahead and do it on your own. I started to draw my hand back. Unexpectedly, Eric reached out and clasped it. The lengths of our forearms pressed together. His skin was warm, his muscles more pronounced than I'd expected. He met my eyes, and one brow lifted challengingly. My stomach curled, not the symptoms of my condition this time, but an unexpected heat. I pulled. Eric pushed off. Too hard, perhaps unbalanced by the change back from horse to man. He came to his feet in a rush, faster than either of us anticipated, nearly crashing into me. Both of us froze, eye to eye. We were close enough to kiss, or, as Eric seemed to think, to kill. My heart pounded in my ears. I was suddenly all too aware of how near our bodies were and how little he was wearing. I hadn't noticed his scent before, ink and paper, with a hint of something headier I couldn't name. Abruptly, his hand dropped away from mine, reminding me that he found me repellent. It was a welcome reminder for all its sour taste, jolting me back to my senses. I was standing in the middle of the open road with the man I'd supposedly murdered. The mostly naked man, thinking about the way he smelled like an utter fool. I cleared my throat and stepped back. we should get going into the trees. Exactly what I just suggested, Eric said, and stalked past me. I swung back to get the saddle. Across the ditch, the forested land sloped upwards, dotted with boulders that pushed through the earth like fists. Despite the steep climb, by the time we were out of sight of the road, Eric was shivering. I was wearing sturdy shoes and a woolen jacket fit for a Gildan winter. Warm clothes were one thing this country apparently got right. But Eric had only the saddle pad, which was meager at best. He stood clutching it around his waist, huddled into himself and looking utterly miserable. I dug through one of the fallen saddlebags, taking advantage of the fading light before it vanished entirely. My 3 bottles of tonic were unbroken, cushioned in a spare set of clothes. I breathed a sigh of relief. My condition wasn't flaring now, but it was only a matter of time before the symptoms returned. At home, I might go over a week with only mild symptoms if I was lucky. But with how disastrously events had unfolded since my arrival to Gildenham, I wasn't about to count on luck. I set the bottles carefully aside and drew out the clothes they'd been peddled in. Trousers, a linen undergarment, a green woolen shirt cut long in the Gildan style, a thick pair of socks, no shoes. But there was nothing I could do about that now. I folded the clothes into a bundle and held them out to Eric. Here, if you're going to be human, you should probably get dressed. I don't think it's going to last. But he took the clothes and turned his back to me. I looked away to give him some privacy, studying the trees. These ones, fortunately, didn't seem inclined to stare back. So you implied you were going to explain why? I wasn't certain he had actually intended to do so, but I deserved answers. A soft thud of cloth against the earth, followed by the rustle of thinner fabric. He dropped the saddle pad. My face heated as involuntarily I pictured what was underneath. I'd seen enough in the bedchamber to know his face was not the only part of him that was pleasant to look at, despite its resident expression of disdain. In its simplest terms, magic is an exchange, Eric said. His voice was slightly muffled, He was pulling the shirt over his head. Power for something else. Change, light, growth. The stronger the spell, the harder to reverse it. A transformation like this shouldn't just vanish after a few hours. It should take an equal act of power to make it undone. But you're human again. Yes, for now. You can turn around. I turned to face him. He was fully dressed. The clothes fit him better than me. Although the trousers were a touch short, green suited him much better than morning gray, bringing out the flush in his cheeks and the color of his hair, minimizing the dark circles under his eyes. Stop it, Bianca. He was in mourning. He hated me. He was also a horse, or had been, until a few minutes ago. I wrestled my distraction into submission. You think you'll turn back? Eric grimaced. Or worse. What could be worse than transforming into a horse? Eric gave me a long look. I managed to hold it, but my face heated. There were 1,000 things worse than being turned into a horse. Right, well, how long do you think we have? I transformed back at sunset, Eric said. It's possible the spell has a cyclical link. Horse by day, man by night, or something of that nature. I glanced at the horizon, deep purple and darkening fast. A few brazen stars were peeking out overhead. That's not how magic works. Maybe not in Demaria, Eric said. Though I believe that's more a result of how your country has chosen to use it than anything inherent to magic itself. What do you mean? He ran a hand through his hair. The motion drew my eyes to his face, wary but no less beautiful. Your adepts are fond of channeling magic into physical constraints, lamps and clockwork and such. But magic tends to run a bit wilder here, in the north, and our spells are more powerful when linked to the world's natural cycles. He was warming to the topic despite his fatigue, and it was unexpectedly riveting. Passion brought color and life to Eric's face. The coronation, for instance. That's why it must take place at the spring equinox. Balance of day and night. Balance of power. Otherwise, the magic here grows difficult. He made an open palm gesture, like a set of scales that showed a scattering of guilt marks on his fingertips. Wait, I said, my thoughts reeling. The coronation is a spell? So his insistence that we had to return by the equinox wasn't a matter of bureaucracy, but of magic? Of course. Just like the marriage ceremony isn't yours? Perhaps it used to be. I turned over the thought, considering the implications. Did the Council of Nine know about this? Did the Adept Guild? But we haven't had monarchs since the noble houses united and formed the council. Ergo, no coronations. Now the council's transfers of power were by appointment, largely lacking ceremony. If magic had any role in my country's inheritance, this was the first I'd heard of it. My mind caught on something else he'd said. Wait. What do you mean by magic growing difficult? The woods walking, new creatures forming, spells going unpredictably awry, Eric said. It hasn't happened in centuries, so I'm not entirely certain what's exaggeration and what is myth. But the Wildwood crown, the crown of Gildenheim, is more than just a fable. It's a precaution. The coronation ensures the realm's stability. Wonderful. So not only did we risk our countries dissolving into war, perhaps civil war on Gildenim's part, I wasn't even certain who stood to inherit in the case of Eric's death if we didn't return by the equinox, but we would also be dealing with a magical catastrophe if we failed to resolve this in time. Walking forests, virtues, even more of the legends about Gildenim had a grain of truth to them than I realized. I drew my thoughts back to the relevant point. In that case, we should return to the castle while you're still recognizably a man. We can't miss the coronation if we don't leave Arnhem, and I would have an opportunity to obtain more of my tonic before it became critical. Eric shifted his weight uncomfortably. The ground was frigid. I realized with a surge of guilt that it must be burning his feet, even through the socks. Much as I would like to get out of the mud and cold, I don't think that's the best idea. Oh, I did the wrong voice. Much as I would like to get out of the mud and cold, I don't think that's the best idea. Why not? We should take the chance to assure the castle you're alive and clear my name while we can. I don't need the entire court of Gildenham believing I murdered my husband. Actually, Eric said, that belief could work to our advantage. I stared at him, not trying to hide my incredulity. Have you lost your mind? Someone sent that assassin. If it wasn't neither of us, well, it certainly wasn't me. Then someone else must be responsible, and what happens next will reveal who it is. I closed my mouth on my half-formed protests. As much as I wished to be exonerated, this actually wasn't a bad idea. Someone wanted Eric dead badly enough to try to kill him once. If he returned, there was nothing preventing that person from trying again, and perhaps taking me out along with him. Allowing our enemies to reveal themselves helped us both. If we wait, Maria can find proof of who's behind this. Eric continued. I trust her to get to the root of it. If we stay clear, she's free to work without the assassin having another opportunity to strike. I didn't know the captain of the guard well enough to share his confidence, but I had no desire to step in front of an assassin's blade again. And I wasn't without my own resources. Ambassador De Paz could keep us updated of her findings. Eric nodded. A court gesture. Exactly. Who do you think sent the assassin? I asked. Eric must know his own court far better than me. He had struck a truce, so I might as well take advantage of his insight. His gaze darkened. I don't know. The Maria would have been my first guess. I had to admit, at least to myself, that in other circumstances it would have been a fair assumption. Tensions between our countries were long-standing, and with Eric dead, would the crown have gone to me if they had succeeded? Eric nodded, taut. And if I were also killed? A shadow passed behind his eyes. It would be contested, he said shortly. There are at least half a dozen relatives who all believe they have a claim. But there's an old law that in the absence of a legitimate successor, the crown may pass to a bastard with the approval of the court. Lord Varon. I remember the rage that had passed across his face when I danced with him. It had been brief, but I was certain I hadn't imagined it. Was his resentment deep enough to want Eric dead? Would your half-brother have the approval he needs? Eric hugged his arms around himself, a gesture that didn't seem to be entirely due to the cold. It's likely, his voice strung like nettles. Vern has generally been considered the better of the two of us in all but blood. If only their positions were reversed. Had the courtiers been whispering about, not about me, but Eric and Varen? We need to get back then. I looked in the direction. Of course, the distance and the darkness rendered Arlen long invisible. We can confront him while you're still a man, force him to confess that. No, Eric said, more forcefully than I'd heard him speak yet. I turned back to him, my brows rising. He hugged himself tighter, shook his head firmly. No, I don't believe Varen's behind this. We've never been close, but I don't believe he would try to have me killed. Besides, he wouldn't dare anything that would risk his reputation. He would need the court's support to have a chance of inheriting. Anyone who thought they had a strong claim to the throne might be responsible. Countess Signa, for example. The blonde-haired noblewoman who'd greeted us after the wedding had been calculating, but that didn't mean she was plotting murder. The council spies had reported discussions among Eric's more distant relatives about seizing the throne, but no actual plans that I knew of. Varen has the most to gain from your death. Less than Demaria, Eric countered. And only if the court determines he has the strongest claim. Demaria gains nothing if I'm blamed for your murder. Anger heated my core. How many times would I have to convince him I'd had nothing to do with the attack? Without proof, we're merely throwing accusations at each other, Eric pointed out, interrupting my swirling doubt. This gets us nowhere. I sighed, unsettled, and reluctantly checked my irritation. As loath as I was to admit it, he was right. Varen, any other nobles whose veins carried royal blood, perhaps even one of the Gildenhaim's other neighbors who would benefit from seeing the country thrown into disarray. There were too many possibilities to deduce the perpetrator from our private suspicions without more evidence. I wanted the answers to be simple, but that was exhaustion speaking, not logic. Fine, I conceded. We'll wait to hear from Maria and Ambassador De Paz. But what do you expect us to do in the meantime? We can't sulk about in the woods waiting for messages. I think we should continue to Demaria and meet your sister. My brows lifted. He'd argued against this plan before I visited Evito. For so long I thought I would never get him out the castle gates. Even though you're no longer a horse? I gave this some thought while you were off with Maria, Eric said. The court is already in chaos. It won't make much difference if I allow them to believe I'm dead for a few more days. If we want answers, I can't show up in person, or whoever sent the assassin will only go back into hiding and wait for their next chance. It's 2 days' ride to the border on the main road. The coronation is at dawn on the 5th day from now. We have time to get there and back again, he shrugged. And besides, if this isn't going to last, it makes sense to be closer to the person who has the best chance of reversing the spell for good. I sifted through his points and couldn't find a good reason to refute them. The timing was tight, but we could hire a carriage and drive through the night if we must. Besides, a treacherous part of me wanted to continue to Demaria. Despite the journey's dangers, I missed Tatiana. I yearned to talk to someone I could trust absolutely, even if she would tease me mercilessly about turning my husband into a horse. And Demaria was still my home. It was dangerous, but this would work to both our advantages, provided we survived the journey. To Demaria, I agreed. But if we're going to be but if we're going to the border, we should start by finding you some shoes. Water break. Hi, hello, your mama. Oh no, no 15-hour stream. No, no, no. Oh wait, let me see. What did I miss? Bunny, I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night. Mwah, love your lives. Oh, good night, Yuki. Stay hydrated. Have a great night. And don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And bye. And your mama, let's go. Remember to stay hydrated, guys. I'm gonna take out another sip of my water, and I'm gonna continue to chapter 16. Okay, chapter 16. I can't believe I'm stealing from my own citizens. Oh, bro, that's the wrong voice. We're starting over. 1, 2, 3. I can't believe I'm stealing from my own citizens, Eric muttered. He was bent over his newly acquired pair of boots, tightening the laces. You can pay for them once we return to court, I said firmly, which we can't do without taking the shoes in the first place. Eric stared at the boots, his expression clouded. Despite my confident tone, I shared his guilt. Commoners are already struggling. Taking their meager possessions might be his right as king, but it still rested uneasily against my conscience. Under other circumstances, I would have simply bought the shoes. We had money, after all. Maria's packing had included a purse of gilden regals. But if Gildenheim was anything like my own country, gossip spread faster than pollen on the wind, and we were only a few miles from the castle. Eric's face was known, and my description would have spread by now, too. If we showed up in the dead of night bartering for a man's shoes with royal coin, the court would know about our escape within the hour. Theft was the only viable option. And I admitted I'd done pretty well at that. The shoes I'd snatched from the first homestead we passed were a young man's work, boots. Not the suede Eric was probably used to, but the fit was better than expected, and they would hold up for the journey. I was more worried about how Eric and I would fare. Hi, Nestor. Sorry, I'm reading now. But it's nice to see you again. Thank you for coming. My condition was quiescent for now, and I was fit enough from regular rides and weapons practice at home. But the mountains of Gildenheim were considerably colder than even the deepest winter night in Demaria. The chill was setting in hard now that the sun had set. I was strong enough on the training ground, but the toll travel extorted was a different sort, especially if we were trekking to the border on foot. And it occurred to me how little I knew about the man I'd married. Could he wield a sword? shoot a bow? Under pressure, would he fight, bend, or break? I snuck another sidelong look at Eric. He'd finished trying. He'd finished tying the laces of the first shoe and was doing up the second. The skies had cleared now. The half-moon's light turned his hair to silver as it cascaded over his head and shoulders, gentled the sharp lines of his jaw. I had the improbable impulse to lay my hand there. "You're staring." Eric was watching me, his brows drawn together in the slightest frown. I clasped my hands firmly behind my back, even though I hadn't actually reached towards him, as if I would be so foolish. "I'm not." Eric raised one brow. It was a feeble attempt at falsehood, and we both knew it. I flushed. "I wasn't staring. I was assessing." "Assessing what? How best to attack me next?" This man was impossible. "For the last time, that wasn't my assassin." "I was referring to the horse fiasco, actually." A pause. He looked down at his newly acquired boots. "And I know it wasn't your assassin. I've actually been meaning to thank you." Now I was staring. "Who are you? And what have you done with the surly man I married?" Eric's flush was visible, even in the moonlight. He rose to his feet, and his gaze caught mine. Something stirred behind his eyes. Perhaps it was anger. This disaster wasn't entirely my fault, but I hadn't exactly made things better. "I'm trying to be better than him," he said. His words clipped. "I know we didn't get off to the best start." I snorted, as if I were the one who was periodically equine. "But I also realized you were not to blame for my personal misunderstandings. Misunderstandings? So, thank you." I stared at him, startled beyond words by his blunt honesty. I'd been raised to believe that no concession, no expression of gratitude came without a debt to be collected later. There was something about the way Eric spoke that eschewed guile. Exuded guile? But could he truly be offering me his thanks without the expectation of something in return? After a moment, I said carefully, "What precisely are you thanking me for?" "For trying to save me. When the assassin attacked, you threw yourself in front of me. You could have been killed." It was the right thing to do. I hadn't even questioned it. I hadn't had time to think. My mind flew back to the flash of steel, the lantern exploding in my hands, Eric stepping between me and the assassin as they struck again. The moment before I'd opened the locket. He'd been terrified. He clearly was hopeless in combat. And yet he tried to save me too. "You did the same," I said, surprised by the realization. Eric flushed. "I promised to protect you." I'd made the same promise. "So your marriage vows do mean something to you?" "Of course they do. If they didn't, I wouldn't have sealed them with magic." Once again, he'd left me without a ready response. I didn't know what to make of this man. He thought I was forcing him into marriage. And so he'd been intolerably rude that I couldn't understand. Yet while believing the worst of me, he'd also sworn to protect and care for me? And more confusingly, meant it? I'd been silent too long. Eric was watching me, his expression rendered unreasonable by shadows. Now he was the one staring, or assessing. I looked away from him, not ready to consider what judgments he was making behind those stormy eyes. We should keep moving, I said. Eric studied me. Eric studied me a moment longer. I could feel his gaze like a physical touch, both arousing and unsettling. I couldn't shake the sense that I had somehow given him the wrong response. If I'd answered him some other way, would he have stepped closer? Followed the trail his eyes took over my face with his hand, cupping my shin to tilt my face towards. I shook myself, face heating. Virtue's fatigue must be addling my wits. Eric had already made it abundantly clear that he harbored no such thoughts about me. I shouldered the saddlebags, grateful that the nighttime hid my flush. The border isn't getting any closer. Without meeting his eyes, I moved past Eric, heading for the moon-gilded road. Despite my best intentions, we hadn't made much distance down the road before our pace flagged to a crawl. The saddlebags were impossibly heavy, and the way they thumped against my thighs were, with every step, soon bordered on painful. Eric, struggling with the saddle, wasn't faring much better. With his longer legs, I'd expected him to outpace me, but instead he kept pushing to adjust his weight. Bianca, he said finally, we should stop. I turned to face him. The moon had slipped towards the horizon, taking with it much of the light. The stars wheedled overhead against a cold and crystalline sky. We're both exhausted, Eric said. And if I'm right about the spell, we'll make much better speed in the morning anyway. We should save our strength. I glanced back along the road, although, of course, Arlem was too distant and the night too dark to see the castle. It would be humiliating to be caught such a short ways into our journey, but I had neither the will nor the strength to argue. Every part of my body ached. I wouldn't have suggested stopping myself, not wanting Eric to find any weakness in me. But I was so tired, and I could have slept in the middle of the... Oh. But I was so tired, I could have slept in the middle of the road. All right. Evergreen forest embraced the roadsides, providing convenient cover. We crossed the ditch with its muddy tickle of water and were soon out of sight of the path. So far, we'd encountered no other travelers, but it was better to take precautions. My stomach was curling with hunger, but I was too tired to eat. Eric pulled blankets out of the saddlebags and handed one to me. Despite the cold and the hard ground, I was asleep the moment my head touched the earth. I woke to the blue light of early dawn and a hand on my shoulder. Eric's. His breath brushed my ear. Don't move. I was fully awake in an instant. My hand crept towards my dagger. You'll scare them, Eric whispered. I stopped, confused. Scare who? Or what? There was just enough brightness to see Eric's face casting gray scale. Keeping one hand on my shoulder, he pressed a finger to his lips and pointed. At first, I didn't know what I was seeing. Near the saddlebags, something was glowing, a pale, glaucous tint, like the luminescent tides that sometimes lapped Damaria's shores. I blinked, and the glow came into focus as a serpentine shape about the length of my forearm. It looked rather like a salamander, four-limbed and sinuous, but I'd never seen a salamander glowing like an adept lantern. A slight snuffling sound and another shape appeared, popping right out of one of the saddlebags. I stifled a startled gasp. Not fast enough. Both glowing figures froze. I had a moment to glimpse tiny claws and triangular faces with curious eyes. Then two sets of wings unfurled, a flash of white, oh, a flash of light sipping upwards towards the trees, and they were gone. Eric let out a breath. I realized his hand was still on my shoulder just as he removed it, leaving the imprint of his warmth behind. What were they? I whispered. Glowworms. Eric. Oh, I read that wrong. Glowworms. Eric astonishingly was smiling. I hadn't realized he was capable of the expression. A rare sight these days. They've been decimated by the logging trade. The trade that floated the Maria's ships. The trade that the treaty we'd signed would exponentially expand. No, Eric definitely hadn't authored those documents. Which left the question of who had. Countess Signa or another of Eric's distant relations, hoping to gain a trade advantage along with the throne? Something within the Council of Nine? Someone within the Council of Nine? But that made no sense. For all my shortcomings, my parents wouldn't rig this marriage agreement only to have me framed for my husband's murder. I've never heard of glowworms, I said, putting those questions aside to consider later. I believe in the Marian the word is fire drake. That word I did recognize, but I shook my head. That can't be right. Fire drakes were... I paused, uncertain. I'd been going to say monsters, but the word didn't fit what I'd just seen. They were large, I settled on instead. Dangerous, a threat to civilization. Eric gave me a wry look. His smile had dimmed, like a cloud drawn over the sun. I wanted foolishly to bring it back. My apologies, he said dryly. I forgot you were an expert on Gildan magic. The sky had lightened while we talked. A sunrise must be imminent, which meant we were about to test Eric's theory. I stood up, biting back a hiss as my sore muscles screamed in protest. I'd never realized how uncomfortable it was to sleep on the ground. All the heroes did it in the epic tales I'd loved as a child. So it had always sounded romantic to bed down on the earth. In practice, though, I'd woken up with my bruises multiplied by rocks and roots. My neck so stiff I could barely turn my head. If I hadn't been so exhausted, I doubt I would have slept at all. I hobbled towards the saddlebags. The glowworms, or fire drakes, or whatever they were, had made a mess of them. Perhaps they were a threat to civilization. I began unpacking the bags to assess the damage. Well, if they weren't a threat to civilization, I asked Eric over my shoulder, then why were they haunted? Perhaps labeling them as such was an excuse. The Mirror once boasted extensive forest land, did it not? I saw his point, but it did not reflect well on my country. But the Maria needed lumber. Our soil was poor. We hadn't truly prospered until we began to sail. Would you have the people go hungry instead? Speaking of going hungry, the glowworms seemed to have homed straight in on our already scant food supply. I pulled out a loaf of bread, hard enough to pass for cast iron, followed by a packet of dried apples. The little beasts had taken a bite out of each. Thank the seas they hadn't decided to sample my tonic too. I would have a balance, if possible, Eric said. Would you have the glowworms vanish altogether for the sake of expanding your fleet? I hesitated. Yesterday I might have said yes, but today, having seen them, I couldn't. Even if the little terrors had eaten some of our food. I think there's room for compromise, I said carefully. At last, something on which we agree. I dared another look at him. Eric had tilted his head back to rest against the trunk of a tree, exposing the arch of his throat and the hollow between his collarbones. Our gazes met, and something fluttered in my stomach. My condition must be flaring again. Eric cleared his throat. It's almost sunrise. I closed my hand around the locket and glanced at the eastern horizon. Swaths of clouds blanketed the sky, dyed rose and gold by the waxing light. I hoped the clouds didn't foretell more rain. Right. Almost time for me to ride you. Blast it! I was probably turning the same hue as the dawn itself. I mean, that is... What are you doing? While I was busy putting my foot in my mouth, Eric had stood up and stripped off his shirt. Color warmed his cheeks as he caught my gaze. At least I wasn't the only one flushing now. I'm not sure what happens to my clothing if I transform, he said. I thought it prudent not to waste a perfectly good set of trousers. How could my face feel this hot on a morning cold enough to see my breath? Right, of course. Please continue being prudent. Eric gave me a pointed look. It took me entirely too long to grasp its meaning. When I did, I hastily turned around and, determined not to listen to the rustle of clothing being removed, took advantage of his distraction to compose my expression and regain control of my breathing. I put a hand to my stomach, willing the flutter to settle. Focus, Bianca. Exhaustion and irritation had worn down my usual careful facade. I'd let my mask slip, showing Eric too much of myself. There was something about him that found all the chinks in my armor. Worse, made me wonder what it would be like to set it aside. But that would be the worst sort of mistake. Just because we had a truce didn't mean I could trust him. Not with myself, and certainly not with my weaknesses. All things considered, it was probably better if he did turn back into a horse. He would still be able to talk to me, confound him. But if I was on his back, I couldn't be distracted by the storm of his eyes, or thoughts of how it might feel to have my legs around him as a man. Virtues help me. This place, this situation, was making me lose my mind. How long could sunrise possibly take to arrive? I stared resolutely into the trees and absolutely did not think of Eric getting naked behind me until the sun had lifted safely above the horizon. Well, guys, that's it. That's all I'll be reading for today. But honestly, I really like this book. I don't know. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I am very tired now. It is now 10, yes. So I will be saying goodbye to y'all. Stay hydrated. Have a great day or night. And don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Goodbye. Bye-bye.